Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is the Patreon Q&A for September 2021. It's the 14th of September 2021. I'd love to welcome here Ethna, Jill, Jane, Linda, and Mary, and Sue. Thank you very much for coming live. If you're watching the replay, everyone, welcome to you. Shall we wave at everyone watching the replay, guys? Hello. Nice to see you. Great, brilliant, fantastic. Okay, so tonight, there's a few things that I want to talk about, and I've just had one question come in. Last month, on the 31st of August session, we had loads of questions, and then this month we have one. It's really interesting how we must all go through like loops of what we're doing and what we're not doing and things. But I would like to talk a little bit about the Heart Weekend that's just gone by. I would like to talk a little bit about some exercises tonight, and so hopefully you're ready to get hands on. I think you've almost all got your hearts there. And I'll talk about Henrietta's dream, which was one of the things that where the questions cropped up for Pamela. So I know you'll be watching the replay, Pamela, so hi to you. So first of all, the Heart Weekend. Thank you very much for those of you who attended it. I know Linda's just said she found it all bar one thing, so that's good news that you did. And I know, Mary, you found all you only found one thing, so we've got a whole variety here. So before we go any further, I thought I would just show you where you can find the replays of anything if you want to, so that you have that as an option. My intention is to also run put a blog up with these all the videos in, but I must admit that was my intention last year. So if you hear me, my intention last year was to make a blog page with all the videos on, and it didn't happen, but it is my intention, so I do hope I will manage it. So if you have a look here, I'll just go straight onto Facebook. It does go into my personal account, so hopefully there won't be anything too awful that pops up on here. So if you go into Facebook, it'll be different for you because I'm having to go in through as the events organizer, but usually there's some kind of link somewhere that says events. So for me, I actually have to go to my page. And I have to go, so it will be different for you. This is the only frustrating thing. I can't show you exactly how it will look for you, but somewhere, if you search around on your page, sometimes it's along here, sometimes it's along the top, sometimes it's down the side. You're looking for the word that says events. And when you find events, you're then looking for the one that says 10th Family Heart Weekend. So it's the one with the little purple sort of bits looking on it. It will be quite small. Once you're on there, let me move that out of the way because that's in our way. And once you're on there, you will see that you scroll down, and this was the button that was foiling most of us, including me, by the way, to start with. It's the about page is you can't even put a message on it, but the discussion tab is where all the posts then go. So and then when you scroll down, all the videos, it's just taking a moment to load, but all the videos are here. So you can see the Facebook Lives that I did. You can also see the uploaded videos, and you can just go through and hopefully find everything there. I don't know how many there are, but there's quite a lot of them. I imagine there's like 15 or plus videos there. And I believe you can now write messages, because there was a spell where I managed to turn off all messaging, so I didn't even know whether anybody was getting anything. It was interesting. So but I think the other way you could do it is you can search Facebook. So I think if I just move this out of the way, there's this button here that says search Facebook, and I think if you type in 10th Family, let's see if that works that way, 10th Family Heart Weekend free events, look, yeah, it's come up. So then you'd be able to click on it and find it that way, I think. So I think that would probably be the best way, an easy way. And if you can't find the events tab, yes, so look, now it's brought that up, and so you'd then be able to click on that, and then you're in again. And again, don't be foiled by this about or discussion bit. Make sure that you click on the discussion one, and that's where you're going to then find the videos. I say that, but as I'm sure you guys are all aware, the Sunday night video didn't go out. So I thought I would just use this opportunity to talk about this just in brief, because obviously it didn't go out, and it was a huge technical glitch because I uploaded it. It was fine my end, it was fine on my computer. How on earth it managed to separate the audio and the video is beyond my comprehension. It just doesn't make sense, even like in any way, shape or form, but it did. And so then I took it down, as some of you know, and I re-uploaded it, and it did almost, well, it was slightly different, the glitch, but it was still an audio and video glitch separation. And so I had to pull it, and I had to make that decision. And as you can imagine, I wasn't very comfortable with that, or very happy, or very joyful. I spent the whole summer making these videos thinking about and creating these things, and And so I wanted to share with you really that I really did spend a day kind of licking my wounds and kind of going, oh my goodness me, and then I really thought about the harp school, and I thought about you guys, and I thought about, time and time again, from the very early start harp courses right through, I'm always trying to kind of, whenever you present me with anything, I'm always kind of trying to go, right, this is what's brilliant about what happened, la 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 la. This is what we can look at to work on for next time. And I'm always saying to you, be kind to yourselves, think about your inner child, because there's always the inner child in us that wants to I don't know, doesn't want to be told off and doesn't want things to go wrong, wants to throw a tantrum or whatever, wants to have a cry, whatever it might be. And then there's the embracing spiral learning, where it's like, yes, of course things are challenging on our way in our harp journey or in whatever we're doing, but something that seems really hard the first time, always easier the second time we visit it. And this is so definitely true. And embracing imperfection, it would be so easy for me at the moment to sit at home and go, well, I don't particularly want to go out and play because of the pandemic. I don't particularly want to face the technical glitches, so I'll do nothing. I could make that decision, couldn't I? I could sit at home and just go, not going to do anything. But the fact is, I'm having to embrace imperfection, because otherwise the alternative is doing nothing. And I think that it's just, I just wanted to share with you that kind of sort of emotional journey that I went through, in case it's helps anyone. And actually I sent out an email, you may have seen it, with some of that stuff in, and I've had 4 messages now of people saying thank you for that message, blah 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 blah. And somebody even said to me, that's made me realize that I need, want to get out and play more and things. So I'm just hoping that by talking about that, and by having had that happen, yes, it was not a highlight for me, but it's this is what, with music, they always say to you as well, don't they? If you want a life in music, you have to want it above everything else, and nothing else has to matter. And we have to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off. I bet all of you played a concert where, or done something where you're like, oh, I wish I got more notes in, or I played a mistake, or I didn't count that right, or I played in the gap, whatever. I'm sure that we've all done that. I know I have. If you haven't, then that's incredible, but it may still happen to you one day. But we have to kind of go, okay, it's a learning curve, okay, it's spiral learning, okay, I'm embracing imperfection, because the alternative would be being nothing. And we have to remember that. I think it's, I personally find that quite powerful. Okay, Ethna says, I wrote all these reminders in my notebook. You can never tell us those things too many times. Yeah, Ethna, I mean, I'm sure that there are probably other things I bang on about, but when I was thinking, I was trying to think, how would I treat a student over this? And I just thought these are the things I would come out with again and again. And you've heard me say it again and again. And you're right, we just need constantly reminding. So that little person that sometimes sits on your shoulder talking into your ear doesn't get too loud. It's like we've got to drown that out, haven't we? Okay, so Henrietta's dream is the question that I've had from Pamela, which is, it's here. It says, I don't have a particular question. Then she says, perhaps the fingering in bars 6 to 7 in Henrietta's dream, so I can achieve faster semiquavers. So you've all had Henrietta's dream, because it's on, well, if you haven't opened it up, you have it in your inbox. It's the Patreon tune of September. It's a tune I've used for the Harp Weekend as well. And I think if I go to the full version, 6 to 7. So Pamela, let's just make it really big, so you don't have to go and get your music if you don't want to. It's these lemonades. It's the semiquaver, and it's the quaver with the 2 semiquavers, which is the 8th note with the 2 16th notes. It's that bit, isn't it? Okay. So I'm sure that even if you, for those of you who think, well, I can play those, that's okay for me, there's always going to be instances in our playing where something crops up where we've got to work our absolute socks off to get our fingers and our brain to do what we want it to do, rhythmically and speed, dexterity wise, whatever. And so, Pamela, as far as working on this bit is concerned, of course, there are things you can do with this. I'll talk about that now. But what I'd like to do in a minute, I'll come off the screen share, and I'm just going to also talk about the general things I know you've probably heard me say 1,000 times, but hopefully, as Ethna said about the reminders I sent out today, that some of these things we can't be told enough. It's just useful to be reminded. But in actual view of this moment here, this da da da. Probably the bit you're finding tricky, the bit I would find tricky would probably be doing the da-da-dum. So, we might look at this, this F, ED. Those of you who've got your harps, of course, you can have a go as well with this. We look at this and we see this as a unit, or I do. If you're really good, you might see it as a unit with the next bit, but it's very easy to see this as a unit because we're taught, I teach you as well, that I'm saying, right, think coffee and then think tea and then think lemonade. So I'm telling you, here's one beat, here's another beat, here's another beat. We're thinking them in units. But as far as the fingering's concerned, sometimes we might then think, right, well, this is the bit, this is the unit I need to practice. I need to go da da dum, da da dum, da da dum, da da dum, and do whatever it is, all the different exercises you could do to work on that, and speeding it up and slowing it down, playing different rhythms, yada yada yada. But I personally would suggest that it's da 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 dum. It's probably the going 2, 3, 1 that might be the challenge. I could be wrong about that, but and here's why I think that, because if you think about this note here, the one I'm looking at now, which is the quaver, which is the 8th note, okay? The 8th note gives us a bit of breathing space, doesn't it, before we have to play E and D. Plus, we've prepared those 3 notes. So actually going down the hill isn't too bad. But going to do this E and the D and then the thumb on the E means a change of fingering, doesn't it? And there's no breathing space here. We've only got the 16th note. We've only got the semiquaver there before we have to land again onto that E. So I would suggest that the everyday exercise idea, and those of you who've done like stutter half and things and flourishing halves know what I mean by that, but if you don't, it's basically just loop practice. The thing to pick out would probably be going 2, 3, 1, da da dum, da da dum, da da dum. So what you could do is you could make an exercise perhaps where you went did that 4 times, yeah da dum, giving yourself a beat off in between. Then you could go back and go da da da, da da dum, da da da. So you're going back and doing that unit that I just said probably isn't the problem. And then you would go into go yeah da da dum, da 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 dum, da 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 dum. So even just from these 4 notes, or in fact, Pamela, you said that the semiquavers, so referring to these 2, from these 2 notes, really what we're thinking is, okay, we've got to blend it in from that, from what we're doing before and what we're doing after. This is sounding familiar to those of you who've done flourishing harvest when we're talking about fingering as well. And then making it, again, it's that idea of breaking something down so it's so small it becomes easy. And then enlarging it, widening it out again. And then with the next one, it would be the same idea. So this bit here where you're going E, E, D, C, F, you might do da, da, dum, da, da, dum, da, da, dum, or lemonade. And then you might go da, da, dum, da, da, dum, da, da, dum, which was D, C, F, D, C, F, and then go D, da, da, dum, da, 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 dum. And then thinking of the whole thing as an exercise, you can take those little snippets and then you could make them into a scale, can't you? So with the everyday exercise idea, what you often hear me talking about is kind of taking things out of their context a little bit, so that we are really putting them into muscle memory and things, rather than getting used to seeing them in the context of the colors of the strings or the feeling away from our bodies and all that kind of stuff. But this is actually making our fingers really remember what we've got to do. So you could go, I'm going to start it an octave lower than it's written here. You could go dum, da, da, dum, and then you could move it up by 1 string. Same pattern. See what I'm doing here? So I'm making that into a whole scale, and in a moment I'll get to the original one. And here's the original one. Okay, at one point I changed my fingering, which is exactly what we need to avoid doing. We need to make sure we're doing it slowly enough so that we don't do that. I'm going to blame talking at the same time, but it wasn't just that. I don't know about you guys, I sometimes have a problem with my brain will switch off with what I'm doing. I think, yeah, I can do it. And then your brain switches off and you can't. So actually it's also a mindset thing, isn't it, when we're doing these practices. Same with this one, you could start at an octave lower and do da 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 dum, and then da 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 dum, da 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 dum, and go up the harp. I'm going to come off and talk about some more general things now. So if you're working on something like this where it's fiddly, it's the semiquavers, so the 16th notes, that are probably partly the challenge, and it's also the fact you're on 2 and 3 for them. I don't know, but I would at a guess. So you could practice some things, walking with 2 and 3. So actually, I'm just thinking of one of my favorite things that I've taught you dynamic harps with before. Do you remember this one? So instead of playing the scale, doing this, yeah. I can see Linda's laughing about this. So it's a C major scale, Linda, and I'm walking between finger 2 and 3. So I'm doing C, D, C, D, C, D, C, D, and then coming back down. And I really have to think of it like walking, otherwise it's just I don't know. My brain can't cope with it otherwise. And I'm just listening to it in my head, yadam, 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 and you'd want to really make it so it was even. So you want to really think about the squeeze and the connect on the fingers as well. So that's something, if you're finding a 2 and 3 movement tricky, you could work on. You could practice just rocking backwards and forwards as well on those 2. That might be a good one. general speeding up and of something with where there's semiquavers. Again, I think you've heard me talk about this till I'm blue in the face, so apologies. I know I'm going over the same material here, but I almost think that some of these exercises are like the thing the thing that we need to do to be able to get to play more fluidly. So I would suggest if Pamela and anyone else is working on trying to get things to sound flowing, scales, but doing things like practicing your scales with the metronome. So you've got the tick going, and so there's the tick going. I haven't got my metronome. Yes, I have. It's there. Okay, just proving that my metronome is always beside me, but I'm actually going to tap my leg to be quick. So if the metronome's going, you could do one per click to start with of a scale. So doing it really steady, going up the harp and coming back down. Then you could leave it on the same speed, and you can try doing 2 per click. Then you can do 3. Now I haven't got a metronome and I've got no idea whether I'm quite doing that perfectly or not, but there we are, you get the idea. And then you can do cappuccino, 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 cappuccino. So doing 4 per beat. You can also have your metronome going slowly. Ethna's just been booted out and she's coming back in again. I didn't boot her out, by the way, her internet or something did. You could have the metronome going and then, you know, you start it slowly at a speed that's good. So if you're practicing that particular thing, it was something like that, wasn't it? Yeah, you could have da, 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 da. And then when you're used to it, you could practice speeding up and do it at that new faster tempo, and then speed up again. Da, 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 da. And by this, I'm talking about, you know, with your metronome going just slowly up the tempo, so you're just getting gradually faster and faster as you go. Yeah. And so, yeah, doing some ideas that will help you speed up. There's one other one that I really like, which is where you do them one after another. So you might do something like the scale coming up, and then go back to the slow one. So if you had the tick going, tick, 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 you do crotchet, 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 crotchet. Sorry, which is quarter note. And then go quaver, quaver, which are your 8th notes, then semi-quaver, 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 back to the slowest one. You can do it once or twice, and then you're going to go to the double time, then 4. And that seems to be another really great one, because you're not doing slow to fast. You're not doing the suspense of lots of slow things, then lots of middle things, and then lots of fast things. You're literally doing slow, medium, fast in that particular instance, and then going back to the slow. And it's like it gives our brains time to kind of what's the word, not reboot, but recalibrate, ready to get ready, like you're braced then for the faster ones. And when you're doing the slower ones, you can think about your technique then. The final one that I would add into this mix of the things that I think like are brilliant for working on your evenness of tone and flow would be, again, the scale. I'm sorry, but to work on, and again, you've heard me say this loads, but work on your accenting. So like accenting 4. And depending on your ability, you can do as many octaves as you like. When you start doing additional octaves, you have to remember to still only accent 4. So if you're doing 2 octaves, okay, and then you would do it with 3. Can you hear what I'm doing there? So I'm just making sure that I'm really strong with one finger. And I think, Pam, if you combine all those ideas, then over time they'll come faster. But one more word on Henrietta's Dream, okay, which is that it is a lullaby. The recording that I put out in the Dynamic Harps ensemble that had come from Sibelius was way too fast. I just haven't recalibrated it. I just recorded it without slowing it down. But so you know, it'd be fine, wouldn't it, at that speed? So it doesn't need, those don't need to be fast. And if they're still tricky when they're not fast, then it probably is to do with the fingering and working on, you know, just doing a little loop practice on the bits that you're finding tricky. So I would say, you know, initially be gentle and kind to yourself and allow yourself to play it slowly, but do the practicing on the fingering and the placing as loops, and then, you know, in the background, just we should always be doing those exercises I've just shown you. I think they should literally be the thing that we're always doing. Whenever like worked with anybody that's been saying, oh, I want to play. There's like the last time it jumps to mind is somebody had to do something where they had to do something really, really fiddly. They had to go down the harp and back up, something like that, and they were finding that they were getting really stuck at the bottom, and it was a case of really going into doing things slowly. And then speeding them up, doing all the different accenting we talked about. And of course, I didn't mention rhythms, which is the other one I always mention, isn't it? Yes, I knew there was something missing. Also doing the humpty dumpty humpty dumpty humpty dumpty humpty dum, and then ti dum ti dum ti dum ti dum ti dum ti dum ti dum. Chips, sausages, chips, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But changing the way you're putting the rhythm in as well. But I think if you combine all those things, Pam, then it will be great. But initially, play it slowly. Make it beautiful, really sing the melody, really think, really sing through your harp, and work on the fingering so that you can play it slowly, evenly, and then do all this other stuff in the background. And this other stuff in the background, there is no quick jump. Of course, the more you do on it, then the better, because we're sort of trying to sort out brain signaling from here to here, aren't we? And then we've all got different hands, all at different points in our lives and everything like that. There's lots of things that are going on, and we just got to kind of just peg away at these things over time and make sure that that we're beavering away at them in the background, so that it gets easier then when we do want to play faster. Right, a metronome mark 80, and what for the lullaby? I haven't actually. I'm just looking for my metronome. I haven't thought about this. What would I don't know. I'm as you know, I'm not great for being pinned to metronome marks, am I? I'm like, well, it depends. It depends what speed can you play it beautifully at, okay. And then how much caffeine has Shelley had? So let's have a think. You said 80, so presumably you were testing your metronome while you were looking at that. I've just accidentally opened Sibelius, so you're going to hear some music in a minute. I'll close it down in a second. Sorry, that's Sibelius. I'll shut it down now. So that's not a bad speed, I think. That's a nice speed, but I think it would probably be even nicer slower. It's hard. It can be hard to play slowly. She says. That could be beautiful, particularly with the ensemble arrangement. We've got that going on underneath. I think that would be really nice at that speed. So that was taking it right down to 66. That was, and things are always, this is why I'm so hard to pin down on metronome marks. Things are always, in general, if you can finding a speed that you can play it at evenly, rhythmically, where you've got continuous rhythm, whatever the tempo, is always going to be better than playing something fast with broken underlying pulse, isn't it? So play it at a speed where you can have it with an unbroken pulse line underlying the piece, in the background. And then some music obviously is better played faster if you can, but it's still always going to be better if it's got an even flow of rhythm behind it. Okay, now did anyone else ask me anything else? Signing through my computer. Oh, I see, Ethna, you're on 2 screens running with you. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Does that answer? Does anybody else have any other questions about Henrietta's Dream before we move along? Yeah, Linda. Yeah, sure, go for it. Well, we can't hear you just yet. That's all. I'll invite you to unmute. Here we are. Oh, sorry. You're muted again. I'm sorry. I won't touch anything this time.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Lovely. Hi there.
Shelley, I feel awful about saying this, but the whole story was absolutely enchanting about the hedgehog and how you built it up and the care of the little thing. But the only thing is, I don't think you'd bring a hedgehog in winter into a warm house, because it couldn't then hibernate.
No, we
And
had
I
this
thought,
discussion. We had this discussion in my house about this. It's a
I thought,
story. You're allowed to bend the rules in a story.
I thought Shelley's partying. She's
It's a
partying
magical
and she's
hedgehog.
going.
It's a hedgehog that can talk, Linda. You know, I think, you know, we can let that one go.
I said to myself, Shelley's partying and she's going for it.
Yeah, no, we had this discussion. I was like, well, I can't put the harp out in the shades because the harp will come to harm. So I was like, this is a dilemma now. Anyway, yes, fine. That's fine. Accepted. Criticism, critique accepted, Linda. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. So is that everything on that one? I think it is, isn't it? Okay, so going on to exercises then. I mustn't talk about exercises every month, otherwise we're like, I mustn't go to that class. She only ever talks about exercises. We've been talking a little, well, we've had a couple of sessions, haven't we, where we've talked about warm-ups or exercises and different things that you like doing, and couch to 5K and all these different things that we've been working on. And the thought has been seeded, I know, by Ethna and various other people. You're like, well, but you should put some things out, exercises. And I was like, I don't want to do another exercise book that's like conditioning exercises for your forefinger, blah, 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 blah. So I've been thinking about this. And and it's a wooden hedgehog. It's a fair point. But anyway, going back to exercises. So I was thinking, like, what could I do? And I was wondering whether whether I can create a set of exercises that are kind of almost genre specific, or like, here we're going to work on rhythm, here we're going to work on stuff that sounds modal, here we're going to work on that. So we're going to take the same ideas but put them through their paces in different ways. So I thought I might show you some of the ideas I've had so you can try them and see what you think. So that, with that said, where's the piece of paper that I wrote them down? There. Okay. Right, okay, so I haven't got as far as writing them on music, so this is for instance, 2-octave arpeggio. Well, arpeggios for starters, okay? So we all practice our arpeggios, I'm sure. Of course we do. Let's just start doing this like this way, first of all. So in Henrietta's Dream, there's a scale that goes down in the piece, yeah? And you could accompany the whole thing with arpeggios. We did an immersion. In the immersion, we talked about all the different ways you could accompany it, didn't we? So I'd like to practice doing the arpeggios, okay, but going down. So what we're going to do is, to start with, if you've got your harp there and you want to try with me, we're going to do just the C arpeggio going up and down, okay? But there's one slight twist in this, because this is going to be put together to be a bigger exercise. I'd like you not to play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And actually we can, no, let's make it easier on you. We'll go right up and down, 2 and 3 and 4. And yeah, that's fine, we can. I take that back. We'll just do a straight up and down arpeggio first, keep it easier. Root position C, yeah? Okay, so let's do it. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, you ready? 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Brilliant. And remembering, that's probably a bit fast, really, because you haven't warmed up together. So we probably do that slower. But we'll do the next one slower. So we're going to move to the next one. But now what I'd like you to do, I did write this down for myself, is I'd like us to play a G first inversion, because remember, it's a scale going down. So we've just practiced a root position chord, but now we're going to practice the first inversion G. So that would be B, D, G, B. Okay, so that was B, D, G, B. Yeah, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. In fact, do it in your own time for a moment while I explain your way through this, and then we can do it together in a moment. So that was B, D, G, B, D, G, B, G, D. I can't do this tonight. B, D, G, B, G, D, B. There we are. I got it out. Okay, B's and D's are very unkind to me. Right, okay then we're going to move down and we're going to do a root position again, but now we're on the A because we're following the descending pattern, okay? So this is now A minor root positions. This is A, C, E, A, okay? So again, just in your own time, just play that one. That was a full arpeggio. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we're going to move down to a G root position arpeggio again, okay? So just in your own time, play that one for me. Then we're going to move down to, it's all right, it's going to change again in a minute, but I'm just going to do another root position and F root position when you're ready. Okay, so it's F, A, C, isn't it? Okay. On the next one, we're going to do a C first inversion again. So remember, this is the first inversion is when we get the awkward gap. Sorry, I mean, the wider gap between finger 2 and 3 in the middle, okay? So if you find that one, this is going to be E, G, C, E, okay? Let's try that one in your own time, just going up and down. Yeah. Brilliant. And then you're going to go down to the D being the bass note because we are doing the scale falling down, but this is going to be a second inversion G chord, okay? So we did root first, root, root, root first. Now we're doing a second. So this is going to be D, G, B, and D, okay? So try that one in your own time. Now you've got that awkward, big gap between 4 and 3, between the D and the G at the bottom there, okay? And finally, back to a nice safe C arpeggio, okay? So that takes you through going down the harp. Oh, I'm going to buzz away if I do this fast. Let me do it slower. And I'm still going to buzz apparently. Then we're doing the first, and then we're doing the second, and then we're doing the root. I may have just found the foilings in that because we're going to buzz because of the third. Okay, so that was the scale going down. Maybe we should do it. We'll do it together slowly. So let's do it together, and I'll try and sound it out. But it's basically you're using a scale there, but you're playing the inversions. And in a minute, I'm going to show you something else that we could do with it. And then hopefully you'll see what I'm banging on about. Let's try it. We'll go 1 and 2 at that speed. Okay, here we go. 3. So C chord to start with. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 place and 3 and 4. Get ready on your first inversion. So that I'm just going to pause so you can find it. So that was B, D, G, B. Yeah, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and then place and 3 and 4 and brilliant. Now we're going to move to the A minor root position. So this is the A, C, E, A. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we're going to these are all roots now, so it's going to be G roots and then F roots. This is G, B, D, G. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Go to the F1 then F, A, C and 2 and 3 and 4. Now we're on that first inversion C. So this is E, G, C, E. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. G second inversion. D, G, B, D. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and then place and 3 and finishing on our C root position. C, E, G, C, G, E, C. So this is one of the ideas because you can extend it to 2 octaves, still following the same shapes. So I'm now doing I'm on the root G, just to demo it, and then I'm on the root F, and then I'm on the root, the first C, now I'm on second G, which has an awkward turn, the C. Sounds quite pretty, doesn't it? Because you start to hear the falling bass line. And then I was thinking if I made a set of exercises like that, you could warm up on the single ones, then you could practice the 2 octave ones, and then you could have I'm not sure I can remember what I did. I just gonna have to have a second to just remind what I've written it down, but not in. I've only written the letter names for a moment. What do I think? So go. It's been. No, I can remember. I have to make it up. Anyway, basically the idea was then you'd have a melody that you put over the top. I'm going to make this up now. This isn't what I've written, by the way. I'm having to make it up. So there you're using your arpeggios and the scale, but then the third thing would be to kind of put a lullaby with it. I then thought of it, and I've got several ideas, but we'll try the next one. So you've got that overview. I thought of you, Ethna, because you keep asking me to do something medieval or Renaissance, and I've still not done it. So I was thinking of you. I will get around to it. It's just these, you know what this like? They permeate, don't they? And then they come out later. Okay, so I was thinking of whether we could do scales. Just to make them sound more fun. Okay, so I thought okay, let's see how we can make scales different. So this time, would you like to find an A minor, natural A minor scale for your right hand? Okay, you all know how to play a scale. I'm not even going to go there. And then in the left, could you find an open fifth on A and E, please? A and E. And we're going to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, And then what we can do is we can, in the right, we're going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the scale. You're having to think about rhythm as well, but it's actually making the scale just sound a little bit more interesting. Let's just try doing the first 4 notes of the scale. Let's try doing A, B, C, D, dum dum, because that will be together, right, together, together. Yeah, should we try that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Together, right, together, together. Should we do that one more time? 1, 2, 3, 4. Together, right, together, together. Marvelous. Okay, if you're feeling brave, any of you, you're welcome to join now, doing the turn and doing the same thing. The pattern of the rhythm of the way they link up will be the same. It's always going to be together, right, together, together. Those of you who've done pop with the pizzazz, be careful, because I kept finding that I wanted to put on the and. Okay, 3 and 4 and together, right, together, together, turn, together, right, together, place, together, right, together, 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 right, together. I got that wrong somewhere because I was thinking, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Together, right, together, 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 right, together, 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 right, together, 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 right, together. I'm not sure if I did get it wrong or right, but anyway, the last bit is just I'm not 100% sure that came out right. Right, then you can do it double time. So then you can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So you're practicing your scale, but you're speeding it up. Yeah, there I am doing. Am I doing what I want to do? No, I'm not. I'm actually double the time of the left. As I say, I haven't written these down. This was today's idea. Anyway, you can do it. So you can do it. That's what I wanted to do. So what I actually tried to do, and I demoed it wrong then, was that you would do the left, keep the left at the same tempo and then build up the right. And then, of course, you can do more octaves. And then you can switch it round as well. Sorry. Do you get the idea? So this is just making the scale sound, just giving it a bit more color. It's putting into a mode, if you like, it's in the alien. And then just as a third example of this thought, and then I'll see what you think about it. But I think these are quite fun anyway, as a thought. There was to do my favorite pop rhythm, and to do it by going doing the CFG chords. And I'll show you what I'm going to show you. I'll demo what I'm going to show you first, where you might do something like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. I didn't mean to do La Bamba. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you go 1 and, let's do it differently. Sorry, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We'll move like that. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's what I meant to do. C chord. And then I was thinking, then you would do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so, like I talked about a minute ago, with where you accent different notes, we would do the same rhythm, that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, with the same notes, but now broken chord rather than block, and go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it's quite hard to do, but it's that same idea. It's taking that idea of the very, what's the word? Not stoic is not the right word, but the very like ordinary is very like play your fourth loud on a scale, now play your third loud. It's taking that exact same idea, isn't it? But it's putting it into a poppy kind of feel. Let's try it and see if you like this one. So in the left hand, we're very familiar with this. It's an arpeggio, because if we're doing a warm-up, we want to use these shapes over and over. So this is C, E, G, C in the left, please. And then the 9th chord, those of you that did the immersion that I am obsessed with, which is where you put the 9 on the 4 in the right. So this would be D, and then E, G, C. Okay, so C, E, G, C, and then D, E, G, C. Did you get that all right? Is everyone all right with that? Yeah, okay, fantastic. Okay, so we're going to now block chord this. Putting your fingers back on the same shape. Just try it a few times. Even just touch the strings and bring your fingers in, so that you can practice coming in and landing, because that's our first challenge whenever we do anything like this, isn't it? Where you're repeating the same shape, is coming back on without hesitation, so you're avoiding as much buzzing. And you know where you're going, so you're not having to refine every. You don't want to be going C, E, G, C, D, E, G, C every time. You want to be like, that's my shape, close my eyes, feel it, think what it's like. Okay, now I can find it without looking. That's the ultimate goal, okay, which takes time, I know. Okay, now let's try it in the rhythm. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Are you ready? Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again 1 and 2 and. It's too much. Just do one hand for now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Ethna gets a gold star for being the only harpist that's letting me see her hands tonight. It's very clever of the rest of you. I know, because I perfected the art as a teenager of always sitting so the teacher couldn't see my hands. Okay, brilliant. So now we're going to try the same chords. It's all right, you don't have to change, it's fine. Okay, now we're on C, E, G, C, D, E, G, C, aren't we? But we can do that same rhythm. That was that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's this pop rhythm that I did in the pop taster. But now we're going to try and accent on that rhythm. So this we have to think about. That was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So where does it land? It lands on the C, the next C. So it lands on the 4 and then the 1 in the left. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then it lands on the G in the right, doesn't it? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3, 4 and. I'm just curious, how do you experience that? Is that possible? Is that possible? Yeah, okay, fine. So I only wonder, I was only looking at Jill then, because Jill was nodding vigorously, so somebody else might be like, no, Shelley, that was not possible, in which case speak now. So and then you would take that onto the other chords, so you know you can practice doing that on different on the F and then the G. And that's just another one of the ideas. So and then, you know, obviously I could do a whole set of things so that you're practicing accenting your different fingers by bringing out an interesting rhythm. So this is my thoughts on some warm-ups. So first of all, I hope that those are 3 little warm-up ideas you might be able to use. And second of all, I wonder, oh, Mary has to leave at 9. So in a moment, I'm going to check in with Mary and see if there's anything else she wants to ask me. But yeah, how did you find that? Did you like that? Was there any of them, did you like one in particular? Anything you thought was good that you're going to try? Mary's just like, yes, okay. Okay, fine. Jill,
oh yeah. I was gonna say I'm a nerd. I like them all.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, I know you like my hand coordination exercises, didn't you? So yeah, thank you. I'm glad. Good. Cool. Okay. I'm just wondering. I actually heard somebody interview. This is very random, about a cookery book they'd written, and they'd written it. They'd like, I didn't want to write the same like cookery book. He worked with the fish, worked with the meat, worked with this, and so I'm like, I wonder if I can do that with music exercises. So this is that's what my brain is doing. So thank you. Okay, brilliant. Mary, would you like to ask me anything before you have to go? Because Mary has to go. I'd love to come around and chat to you all actually as well.
Well, I've tried to go onto your Facebook page and I still can't do it. So you'll have to send me some clues or something, please. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Are you on Facebook now?
No.
Can you open it up simultaneously?
Well, it's on my phone.
Oops. Okay. I realise now you can probably see personal information. I better stop my share.
No,
my mum's popped up and goodness knows what we've been saying to each other.
So am I going
I can't share that again. Just
am I going onto your personal Facebook page?
Sorry, well, no, it's not. It's the 10th. I've forgotten what it's called now. I have to look now. It's called the 10th. If you find the bit where you search on it, let me just shut down my mum and me chatting. It's okay. It doesn't say anything bad. Not that it would anyway, really. But
yes, well, we've been
okay. I can open it up again now. I've de-panicked myself. Okay, so
if I look at what you put in on Saturday or
Mary,
Sunday.
if you're on your Facebook page, if you can find a bit where it says search Facebook. So if you look at the screen, look at my screen for a moment.
Yeah.
Can you see it has the word search Facebook there?
Here
at the top.
Hang on. No, because I'm on my phone, you see, and it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. Okay.
No, so it doesn't come like.
Okay. So can you see? Have you got 3 little dots in the corner of your Facebook?
I've got 3 lines.
Yeah. Try tapping on that.
Right. Okay.
Does anything say events there?
Yes, one. Yeah.
Okay. So tap on the one that says events.
Yeah, it's not you though.
Okay. Because
No,
somewhere
it's not
there'll
new.
be a place where you can find all the events that you've been to in the past and that you are going to in the future.
Oh yeah, there's loads for 2022.
Right.
Hang
Okay.
on, I'm getting down to.
I haven't got my phone here, so I can't. Does anyone checking on their phone for Mary? 'Cause I
Yeah,
haven't got my
I'll
phone.
go in on here when I've done what I've got to do at 9 o'clock.
Okay, fine. Well, I mean, if you are you on your laptop talking to me?
I'm on the computer at the minute.
Yeah. Okay. So when you come off this call, if you go onto Facebook on your computer instead, if you just look where I'm circling on the screen right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Find the bit where there's a little magnifying glass and it says search Facebook. I think this is probably the easiest thing to do. And then type in 10th Family Heart Weekend.
Right. Okay.
Because you've been, I assume you, I don't know. Anyway, type that in and it should come up.
Right,
Then
okay.
as a thing you can click. And then hopefully you can click on the discussions button. The other thing is, Mary, if you see my work page, I shared most of the videos onto the work page. I didn't share quite all of them. I didn't share the ones I felt awkward about. I should share the rest of them.
All right,
So you might find that you'll find them on my work page as well.
Thank you for your help.
Yeah.
Right,
Has anyone got any tips for Mary at all on this?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay. Oh, Ethna, go for it.
Go on, Ethna.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see this right here, but the search is at the top. Let's see, right there. See at the top?
Oh, the one that's a magnifying glass on the top right.
Yeah.
Top.
Yeah.
That's what you would push to look for.
Yeah, that's what I
for the
thought.
10.
And then type in 10.
I'm not very techy, you see. I'm always asking, poor old Jill gets bombarded.
And then you get that. So, and then you can just
let's
type in whatever you need.
Try that. Posts you've seen. Try that, or events you might like is what it says. Oh, let's see all.
So it's more that you'd need to type in those words. Usually at the top, then there's like a bar that you can type into, I think. I wish I don't.
No, it doesn't. My phone isn't. Anyway, don't worry about me. I'll fix it.
I'll try and find a way to share it, Mary. Sooner rather than later. I'm turning around because I've got a list behind me of all the things I've got to do, and it's on the list, but you can't see it because it's hidden.
That's fine. That's okay.
It's definitely on the list. So but as I said, the reason I'm just saying it very tentatively is that I know last year I intended to put it on a blog and make it easier to find, and then I never managed it. So, but things are slightly easier this year, she says.
What sort of phone does Mary have? Which
Android? It looks
Android?
like an iPhone to me.
Samsung and Android.
Mary, I'll go through it with you.
Sorry?
I'll go through it with you. We can
Okay, thank you, Gillian.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No problem.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for your help. Okay, see you soon. Bye.
Bye. Okay, brilliant. We still have half an hour, guys, and that's actually, I've covered the question and I've covered the warm-up thing and I've covered the feeling icky and still going for it anyway thing. I'd love to maybe it's always nice to connect in with you all, so I don't know whether you would like to, maybe I can come around, and if we were in a course I normally like ask for your harp high and harp challenge of the week, so maybe I should do that and come around and see you, and then usually if you tell me a challenge it becomes a question. So shall I try that? Let me see if I can do that then. Okay, right. Jane, can I have a harp high and a harp challenge of the week from you, do you think? You're like, no. Okay.
No.
How are you getting on? Are you doing all right?
Fine.
Yeah, any news on the triple?
He was, last time I heard he was traveling in Germany, so it's not progressing very fast.
Oh, I see. He's busy at the moment away from home.
I do have one sort of a question for you. When I was watching that you were telling about the level 3 and the flourishing harpist.
Yep.
I have no idea which would be better for me.
Oh, flourishing harvest.
Jill, you've never taken level 3, so you don't know.
I know, but harvest is amazing.
But I would say, Jane, you are, you teach and you play and perform and everything, and so I would have said flourishing harpist probably, unless you want to go into, I mean, in level 3 I go through the circle of fifths, and I go through like modulating, and there's some stuff about sort of self-care and things like that. I would have said probably if you're keen to do one of the 12-week courses, that Flourishing Harpist would be the one for you. I've had a couple of teachers go through it, and they've got stuff out of
it. Amazing.
Okay.
Thank you, Jill.
It is. It really is.
I do think it's probably
I second that.
I'm proud of them all in a different way, but I am proud of Flourishing Harpist. So yeah.
It's huge.
It's a library of ideas, Jane. So yeah, I hope you've got some spare time if you're going to do it.
Okay. The things that I'm most interested are probably more to do with technique.
Okay.
And okay, I've been arranging music all my life, so I have no problems with other things.
Yeah.
But sometimes I wonder if I'm bothering to damp enough. And the other thing is that it's so many years that I do completely different ways of doing the harmonics.
Right. Okay. Do you want to show me your harmonics, or?
I don't want to show you now. I talked tonight, and I'm just.
Don't worry, that's fine. I mean, in Flourishing Harpist, I'm trying to think what the list is like. But we definitely go over. I'm not sure. I think harmonics is something I don't do in it. But the thing is, we have a Q&A every other week, which means that you can ask anything on the alternate weeks that you want to. So you can come in and ask. You can say, Shelley, can you go over harmonics? Which, to be honest, I think has happened in every run of Flourishing Harpist. The reason I didn't do it is because I do it in Start Harp level 3. I talk about harmonics. And so I was like, I'm not making another 20-minute epic blah. But it's absolutely great to talk about things and workshop things through. So, you would be able to do that. But as far as I'm just thinking about technique stuff. I mean, working at it's all kind of wrapped up in technique.
Yeah, it's
all of it. I mean, metronome is, shapes is, fingering is, what and a harp is, that is, words with words. Well, I'm sure that you don't need rhythm work, but it's also one of the things we do is we do a live rhythm workshop where actually it fascinates me, the rhythm workshop, when we do it live, but it shows that it's sometimes it's to do with our technique as to why the rhythm isn't working. So it might be that we academically understand the rhythm, blah blah blah, technically possible, so we do a technique thing. The Couch to 5K, Ethna can tell you all about that, but that's definitely about technique. Duo and ensemble probably is something that you don't particularly need, but as you've been playing, things, but that's quite I don't know, there's a lot in there as well. Damping, there's a whole week on damping. A whole week on damping. And as far as, if you don't damp enough, I definitely, on my electric harp, I've had to learn to damp all the time, which has completely changed my hand position. So it's completely, I don't know what I'm trying to say is that it depends what we're doing, how we damp and how we hold our hands and things. So I think this is, it's quite an interesting week from that point of view of all the different ways you can damp. I wasn't a tidy damper for like really early playing, and I think now if I went back into that genre, having worked with the electric harp on pop, I think I'd probably find I'd be much more picky. So it's really interesting as well, isn't it, the way that we go along through our lives. You can do it, the art of breaking down, making anything easy, that's just practicing, but that's to work on technique, so it's still important for that hands together challenge. Not so much technique, that's just to do with getting them to play well together, and then practice skills. So though, I mean, I think about probably over 3/4 of that I would say was technique based, but there's quite a few people here who've done Flourishing Harpist that can probably tell you a bit more if they're willing to. I'll look at the Start Harp list quickly. Start Harp 3. We do harmonics, damping. We don't do that many ways of damping, though. We do sort of more foundation stuff. Fourth finger slide, thumb slides, mid-piece lever changes, and trills. So that's the technique stuff we work on. I do reflecting on technique the whole time. But Jane, you've already done the technique Explore, Revive, Reflect, haven't you? Which I'm hoping to do another live session for at some point soon. But you took that class, didn't you? All the foundation techniques. It was just like a 2-hour thing.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that everything's there. So, that I would cover it's kind of everything's there that I cover in Start Harp 1, 2, and 3. So, what you could do is just go and revisit that material and then do Flourishing. And I then think you probably won't feel you've missed anything, as long as you don't, it's not that you wanted to dive into the circle of fifths and the and learn all the pieces that are in level 3 and stuff. I think Flourishing Harpist would satiate. I think.
Okay, my biggest issue is probably that the last time I had a live teacher beside me was 45 years ago in Wisconsin.
Okay, yes, yeah. I think you told me this before, so it's been a while, yeah. Well, I mean, what is it we do? I can't know what I call them. I call them sorry, I don't call them homework feedback. I call it a masterclass, don't I? We have 6 masterclasses where you do play live. And so, you know, you do in effect get a one-to-one lesson through Zoom. It's not in the same room, I know, but and so, you know, we would be able to work together on that. And then during the Q&A, when if you want to ask like specifically about harmonics and show me, then you can that way too. So you do get some one-to-one support. But if you'd rather not, then you can always send in videos in advance. You don't have to play live as well, if that, you know, so depending on how you feel. But we've had the 2 teachers that have been through it's been wonderful to have them in as well, because, you know, you'll be able to add your own help us as well. I mean, and I learned from the teachers too, so, you know, it's good for the group, you know, as much as you'll find that you well, like we will enjoy, you know, you'll be able to feel your expertise is, you'll be able to see let your expertise shine through, I suppose is what I'm saying, as well as hopefully finding, if you do it, some useful tips along the way as well. So we all learn from each other all the time, don't we? So it's just brilliant. Yeah. Does anybody want to add anything else useful for has anybody taken both the courses here? I don't think anyone has. No, that's, if Kate was here, Kate could tell you about the 2, couldn't she? But she's not here. But yeah, so that's as good as I can manage on my own, I think. Anything else, Jane? Jane's muted herself, so Jane's like, I'm done now. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you, Jane. Nice to chat to you. Linda, would you have a harp hire, a harp challenge, or anything you'd like to add to tonight?
Yes, I would like to know about joining. I think I did some of the flourishing harp things, not really knowing what they were, and they've been really useful. But I probably joined halfway through the series. Okay. And you recommended I did start harp 3 because I've done virtually no theory, so that would be really good. Yeah. It's not too late to join for this September.
I'm about to put out the final call after the late concert has gone out on Wednesday night. Then I will send out a final call for the rest of the week for the courses. They start on Sunday.
Yes.
So yeah.
But you didn't put the times of them.
Basically they're access at any point kind of courses, because you get on a Sunday morning at some point, the videos get sent out by Rizuku, and you get about 2 hours of content, I think, usually for most of the courses on the Monday. And then you get the handout downloads as well on that day. But there is a live session for all of them as well, which you can come to if you can make the time, or you can send in videos if you can't. For Start Harp, they're at 8 o'clock British time on Sundays. And for Flourishing Harp,
because you see, I do two other harp people. One is a wire harp, and one is Karen Marshall-C, who does wire and the other harp.
Oh gosh, right, okay.
And they're Sunday afternoon, so if it's an evening one on Sunday, I should be very tired, but I can do it.
Be utterly exhausted, but you can still make it. Yeah.
And also, I've not found how to get into Rizuku, but I thought I'd ask that to Karen tomorrow, so I don't delay everybody.
Oh, that's fine. Before I forget, the Flourishing Harpist is at 8 p.m. British time on Wednesdays. But to get into Rizuku, do you get emails from me saying join Rizuku and things like that? Yeah, I
do.
Okay.
And I've got Patron, and I can get as far as clicking on Patron, obviously.
Yes, yeah.
And then I can put your name in, and then I've got overview and posts, and I don't know where to go from there.
So if you sign up, I'd love to get you in before that, and maybe I can come around the circle and then talk to you when we finish. Because I'd love to show you now. But in addition to that, if you sign up for Start Harp on the 19th, we have not the 19th. Is it the 19th? Sorry, I think it is. Let me just double check. Yeah. You're nodding. Thank you, Sue. On the 19th, on Sunday 19th, we'll have a meet, greet, and orientate, where I will actually show you into the classroom. So
that's good. I might have learned
even if we don't manage to get you in before then, hopefully we can get you in on the meet, greet, and orientate. Yeah.
And the final thing is exercise tunes on the left hand to play 1 and 3, some and third, and then 2 and 4. And I found it so hard to do. And sometimes we have to hold 2 and 4 down and move 1 and 3 independently. And I've been sitting every time I watch TV just going 1, 3, 2, 4. And they've got a bit better. I can do it on the right hand, but the left is the right.
Okay, that's it. Okay. This is cross fingering. Isn't it? Yeah. It's because our fingers get angry when we're doing it. No, there is like a thing that we refer to as cross fingering. Yeah. So okay. So first of all, there's a whole immersion about cross fingering. So you can, if you want to, take. There's a 2-hour course I've got on cross fingering. But the thing I'd say about it is that practice putting down all 4 fingers on an arpeggio.
Yes.
And practice, doing independent fingers. So, you could be kind to yourself and go, I'm just going to play the thumb. Oh, good, I can do that one. That's good, yay. And then practice doing just the 2 and give yourself loads of time. And if the 2's reluctant to come off, tap it with the other hand. It seems to be a brilliant brain hack. I don't know why, but it seems to work. Tap it with the other hand, and then it often comes off. And do that all through the fingers.
Yes.
And that will be a good starting point. Another thing is to practice putting the fingers on, thinking of that 5-step thing, that hover, land, squeeze, play, relax thing. Practice hovering and landing before you apply any pressure to your fingertips.
Yes.
And then just squeezing the one you want to use. So
that's a good idea.
This is where it can be tricky, because sometimes if we go to squeeze one, I don't know if you want to try this, can you just squeeze one finger, or do you find that they all want to squeeze the string? Put them all on and just try squeezing 3 on its own and see how possible is that. Now I can feel my 2 is still just wanting to it's like, oh, please let me do a bit of pressure on that. Okay. And then, try that with all the fingers too, to just see if you can get your brain to go, okay, I'm only going to squeeze on that finger. Because
I think the answer is,
this is all just strengthening our signaling points, isn't it, from here to here, really?
The answer is I've been very bad on squeezing in advance, and therefore I just play when I need it.
Right. Okay.
That's why I have no difficulty in playing the one I want when I should be squeezing the others.
Right. Okay.
The whole technique is wrong, and I will try and get better.
There's always, often when we unpick these things, there's often other things underlying. I will just give you a couple more tips, though, if I may, just follow. Because the other thing is then having all 4 on. Once you've done all the other things you just talked about, practice doing like 3-1, and then again just touch the 2 of them, 3-1. Touch the 2 of them with the other hand, 3-1, and then swap it around to touch the other 2 and practice those 2. If you're slipping off, if you're kind of doing this and going, some of you will have experienced that. It's often that we're holding too much tension in our hands. So again, because often when we're trying to do cross fingering, and joking apart, we do get cross. We can tighten up our hands. So think about that relaxation, and then practice squeezing them together in pairs as well. Okay, so you're practicing them in pairs, and if you're hearing ba-dum, which I did then on my 2 and 4, I thought that wasn't as even as I'd like, then you can then start doing exercises where you'd be like, okay, right, I'm going to practice rocking between them, then I'm practicing going to go humpty, 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 ti-dum, humpty, 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 ti-dum, ti-dum, ti-dum. Again, just changing the rhythms and mixing it up so that you're just changing the signal, strengthening our signaling from our brains to our fingers, because it's not that you can't play these notes. You can play your fingers, you can play these notes, you can play, it's all easy peasy. It's just going to your brain, right, you want these 2. And you said you were practicing it when you're watching TV. That's great. So, the hands position, thinking about, the handlebars, you're not tight in, practice doing your movements, practice doing just 3 and 1, 3 and 1, and then 4 and 2. You can all try that now. So you can practice, and then you can practice alternating just 4 and 2. What's that feel like? Is that easy? Is that awkward? I don't know. And then practice 3 and 1. And if that's not really easy to do, whilst I'm doing it while talking now, and I'm like, is this right? But you want it to go into your autopilot, don't you, as well? So doing some exercises like that away from the harp's also going to help. But with all those things, one last word on this, watch out for tightening down the back of your tendons on your fingers when you're doing that, both when playing and when just doing it as air harp, because it's really easy to get tense when you're doing cross fingering. But I have done a whole immersion on cross fingering. I can't remember what it was called. I think it's just called cross fingering. You can do it. So if you are interested, is it, Jill? Okay, then I can send you the link for that too, Linda, if you're interested. So there we are, some food for thought. Anyway, great question. Thank you. Brilliant. I shall check in with Jill, if I may. Jill, have you got anything you want to ask or add, or harp highlight, harp challenge of the week?
I think everybody should do a flourishing harpist.
We really enjoyed, it was particularly because we did it in April, didn't we? So it was particularly a particular moment in life as well, I think. But but
it kind of covers everything.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing something, you look back and you think, Oh, I can look in my folder and see about that. So it's not, it's just amazing. It really is. I mean, my folder's there. Other things are sort of tucked away, but yeah. My folder.
It's huge as well, isn't it? Look at the size of it. Oh my goodness me. Wow. But one day I'm going to sit down and look at all the stuff I've done and go, wow, that's a lot. Anyway,
Henrietta Stream, you know, the app shows the left right thing. It's easier for me to that one. Those.
Oh, in the ensemble version, yes, yeah.
Yeah. Between 26 and 27. So you're doing the right, left, right, left.
Okay, let me just bring up on the screen because I think I've got it now.
Page 2.
Page 2, is it? Okay. There we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So it's between 26 and 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's just a matter of getting your finger back down, but because I'm putting my fingers in and then I'm kind of, so is it just to practice block chords?
Show me what the challenge is. If it's okay, I'll just bring you big on screen if you don't mind, then I can have
it's just it's that sort of 27 there when you're going down there and then you're coming back onto the B.
Yeah. So it's moving between the two shapes, is it, Jill?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's an awkward one. I'm just going to bring it up on screen share again because a lot of them have been the same shape, haven't they? And suddenly that one's not. So I think that does make it slightly more challenging. And you said just now, you said, is it a matter of doing the blocks? Yes, I think it would be good to do that. And as soon as I did it, just thinking about this too, and I'm sure you've already noticed this because you've been looking at it, but I thought, oh, hang on a minute, the fourth finger goes back where it was.
Yes.
So that helps. So actually for me, the thing that I'm feeling awkward about in my hand when I'm doing that, and it will be different for everyone, but I'm finding that moving 3 from the E to the D felt awkward that time.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm finding.
So you could practice to start with. Maybe you could practice doing, so you could just take half the block chord even. So you're saying,
right.
So you're saying, okay, 4 and 3. You're going from here to here, here to here, here to here. Yeah, and then you could practice the 3 of them here to here. Oh, yeah. So you're practicing without the top note.
Yeah.
And then put them all back together. So you're practicing movement. And then you could practice doing your, like we've talked about so many times, hum, ti dum, ti hum, ti dum, ti, and then ti dum, ti dum, ti dum, ti dum. And that's going to really help. And if you don't want the left to be bored, you could do the same thing, I suppose. You'd have to do it 2 octaves apart. Just because sometimes it's good to teach the other hand, or get the left to do it on its own. Because sometimes the right, the left side of the brain, I don't know, I have no idea. I'd love to know more about this, but it seems to do something to help as well. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. But it's awkward because some of them, actually, I don't know where it is. I don't know, maybe it isn't. I thought some of them were the same shape, but it doesn't look like any of them are. Oh, it's because you're moving from the beginning of the bar to the middle. Okay, but that is still a more awkward one because it's an inversion, isn't it? Whereas most of them are root position. Yeah, so that one is the one that probably needs more practice anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Does that give you some idea?
Yeah, that's really good. That's breaking it down. Actually, is a good idea.
So that comes down into the art of what do we call it? Art of breaking it down in flourishing harpist, isn't it? It's that whole kind of like, if you're finding something tricky, always look for the smallest thing. Especially you've got to diagnose, haven't you? And then you've got to like make it easy, and work on that little thing, and then widen it out again.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, fabulous. Thank you for all of you for attending all these bits and bobs we did at the weekend as well. Who haven't I spoken to? Ethna or Sue? Right. Okay. I said Ethna, so sorry, Sue, if that's okay. You're last tonight. But I'll go for Ethna, and then okay. I moved Jill off large screen because I think she's remove spotlight. There we are. Brilliant. Ethna's got something for me. I can see. Hi.
Well, no, actually, it's just I just wanted to verify with you about the modes class.
Yeah.
Because I've got little scribbles here in my book.
Yeah.
And I've written that there's a meet and greet on the 27th of September. Yeah.
Yes, which is going to be for both pop and for modes at the same time. Because they're both running and they're going to dovetail. I don't know if that's the right word. They're going to alternate. Some people will be doing both, and some people will only be doing one. So if you're doing modes, I think hang on. Can I find my list? I don't think I can tonight. Unfortunately, that's the one thing I've written down, not digitally. No, I think I'm not going to be able to put my hands on that. Let's just go and check on my desk.
I think it's a Monday.
Okay, I'll just get my diary instead. Unfortunately that's yeah, it's on a separate piece of paper. Let's have a look in here. Picture Q&A, that's that one. Okay, so the 27th is going to be for every group, and then I said Pop was going to go first. So if you're just doing modes, we meet and greet on the 27th, and then I bring up this one. Hang on a moment. Sorry to be so vague about this. I was all ready for that last time, wasn't I? And this time I'm like, where's my piece of paper? When you get the email with it in, you'll have it all written out. It's just it hasn't come yet. So 27th will be for everybody. Then Pop materials will go out. Yeah, Pop will be live on the 4th, and then modes will be live on the 11th. That's right, isn't it? And then it will alternate. If I've said that wrongly, I will message you, but that's what I believe it to be. Everyone on the 27th, Pop live on the 4th, modes live on the 11th, and then alternating until Christmas.
Until December 20th as well.
Yeah, it goes really late. And if that's September 20th, then that's the right one. I've said it right. Yeah.
Okay. And so,
like, mode is going to be really late.
The live sessions with you are going to be on Mondays?
They are for this one, for this term. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. Brilliant. Sue, last but not least, is there anything that you would like to ask, add, anything at all?
Not especially. I thanks for sorting out the immersion. That's good. I'm using my dog's Facebook account, so if you see Tixie J still logging in, that's me.
Okay.
I don't have a Facebook account.
Amazing. I love it.
We don't believe in adding to Mark Zuckerberg's empire.
No, I think that's fair enough.
The dog. Well, actually, it's a combination of all 4 dogs have so that's we have 4 dogs. So Tixie, Jessie, Winnie, and Stella. So it's Tixie J Winstell is
So I'm just going to write this down. So tell me again, because otherwise I won't have a clue.
Okay, Tixie, Tixi.
Yeah.
Don't forget to friend her.
That's true. I can friend your dog, and then I'll know it's you.
I want to friend your dog.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. So, okay, you're going to get a friend request, and I never send friend requests, by the way. So this will be like this happens like 3 times a year that I ever send friend requests.
And the picture is a very cute collie puppy.
Okay, I've only got as far as Tixie so far.
Okay, Tixie, then J.
Yep.
And the surname is Winstell, Winstll.
STLL.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's me.
The border collie. Okay, brilliant. Right. Okay then.
It's a baby border.
I'm going to send out a very rare friend request tonight to a dog. I love it.
Excellent. Yeah. So yeah. So, and I thought I might, if it's all right, I might join because I've never joined the Start Heart Facebook.
No, Facebook. So well, now I know. If you send a request for it, then I'll let you straight in. Even if you can do it now, even better, because then I will know and definitely won't forget. Why is there a dog asking to join Facebook? Anyway, but yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's good. So I think my heart pie is I can almost play at Kingham.
Oh, wonderful.
So I played it to my mother is a really good musician, and we had to learn musical instruments and things, and I, as you know, I didn't for 40 years, and I'm coming back to it. But yeah, we have a Zoom meeting with her once a week, and so I played at Kingham. A couple of mistakes, but I kept going.
Yeah.
I mean, she's 90, so she's pleased to see that her 60-odd-year-old daughter's finally getting back into it. So that's
oh, congratulations!
Yeah,
That's that's a real achievement.
Yeah, because it's just over a year since I got my first harp. I now have 2 harps. I'm very sad. It's been a big year, and I'm really
amazing. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing Start Hop 3 again because there was a lot in it, and I just wanted to go through it. But I will miss the first session because we're on holiday.
That's fair enough. You understand about the orientate, and you can meet and greet the following week, so that's fine. Yeah. Well, congratulations. I think that's massive. I think we should all give you a round of applause for your performance at Kingham, because it's not an easy piece, is it, at Kingham? There's a lot of technique in it. And yeah, she was like, no, it's really not. So yeah, fantastic. Actually, have you got any words for Jane about Start Harp 3 that might be useful for her?
There is a lot of, well, for me coming through, because I've done 1, 2, 3, and the third one, it does feel like there's there's quite a lot of technique. I mean, things like going around the circle of bliss, if you've learned sort of all the different keys and things in the past, it's just really a refresher. And Jane sounds like, you know, she does it all the time anyway. But getting your fingers working on the trills and the roll chords and the harmonics and things like that, it does sort of focus your mind a bit more. So I that's kind of why I'm going to do it again, so that I do those extra practice on that.
Do you know, as you said that, I realized that when I do the moving on technique, you then get a piece on the technique, which my brain didn't remember that. So actually, if you were wanting to refresh things and work on things like harmonics and slides and things, I can't remember what they're called, but like the one with the trills called 1 in a Trillion, isn't it? And then there's one called Hazel's Harmonics, which has got harmonics all the way through it. My mum's called Hazel and she's a guitarist, so it sounds like a bit like guitar music. And so that, yeah, there's a piece, isn't there, which actually helps you work on each technique. So I'd forgotten that they connect like that, just briefly. But yeah, so that might be useful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for that. That's brilliant. Marvelous. Bravo. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. So it's still only 23 minutes past. Do you want to ask anything else? Do you want to chat informally? Shall I just I can stop the recording and we can just hang out for 7 minutes without thinking anyone's going to watch us on replay? Sorry, replayers, if you're watching the replay, you're like, now what are they going to talk about when we come off recording? Or has anybody got a last question before we go in? I suppose I should also say, if you happen to be free on Wednesday, I'm not sure that I can bring myself to even promote this, but if you happen to be free on Wednesday nights, come to my concert that may or may not stream live on oh my goodness me, I've set it up as a premiere on YouTube, and I've checked the video, it's uploaded, I can watch it, it works on there, whereas on Facebook I couldn't check the video once it was uploaded, so I feel slightly more confident. But yeah, it may or may not work. Yeah, see you tomorrow, maybe. Brilliant. If it doesn't, I don't know what I think. I think tomorrow I'll make sure I'm not in my pajamas, because I was in my pajamas last time. So at least I could come on Facebook Live and go, hi, I'm really sorry it hasn't worked. I couldn't even do that. I was like, I can't even go and say anything. It was awful. Anyway, never mind. That wasn't awful. It was just one of those things that happens. And we've all had them. I mean, it made me think of what live gigs where things have gone terribly wrong. And I remember going to a church once with my loop pedal, and it was one of the first times I'd taken my looper out to perform the Three Strands concert. And the church sound system interfered with my sound system, and I got this massive it was so loud. And I was over on Guernsey and they promoted it all around the island. There was massive posters up and it was ridiculous. And then I was there and I was like, my kit doesn't work. And my concert, 50% of it is with my looper. And so what I actually had to do was on the fly, well, not on the fly, but I found out 2 hours before, I had to rework it so I could do it without looper. And then there was just one track which I said to the audience, I want to demo the looper for you. You're going to hear a weird, we're going to pretend it's a drone for this piece. And I just did one piece with the looper, but it was that was a real moment. So I mean, these things happen when you're live as well, because I was like, this wouldn't happen if I was playing in a place we just sorted out. But these things can happen, can't they? So yeah, if you happen to be free, that would be amazing if you wanted to come along. And yeah, I'll keep you informed then about the final courses, the final announcement, final sign up for the courses. And remember, as patrons, you get bigger discounts than everyone else. So if you haven't got your code, it's £60 off the bigger courses for you guys. So I think it's I don't think I can remember off the top of my head. I resend them. I tell you what, I'll resend them out on Patreon so that you've got them at your fingertips. But don't sign up without a discount code, please. Okay, fantastic. I am going to stop the recording then, as no one else is jumping in. But we've got a few more minutes. We can stay and chat. Jane's waving at me. Go on then, Jane. You got one more thing to ask.
Yeah. I think that maybe I should make a video for you of how I do the harmonics on the condylet, because I think that's the reason why I've forgotten how to do them on the harp. And it may be very interesting for people to try the same technique on harp that I do with the condylet. Well,
I mean, one of the things that I assume I say somewhere on a video is that I remember at university I was taught you must do, I can't even remember where it was on my hand, but I remember having a lesson on which had harmonics, and she was like, you must do your harmonic here on this part of your hand. And so I spent months trying to play my harmonic with this bit being the stopper. And then at some point, probably 10 years later, I was like, hang on a minute, we're just stopping a string and then plucking the string. It doesn't matter which part of my hands I use. And of course, then you might go to a masterclass and see somebody go, well, if you do it here, you're going to get a much more bell-like tone. And there are nuances and things like that. But actually, the underlying thing that we're doing is that we've got to cut the string in half some way to be the stopper to stop half the string vibrating, and then we have to make a movement that will block the string, and then we have to clear out the way so that it can actually make the sound. And so what I'm going on to say is that, you know, I think I once demoed it by using my nose. I'm not doing that again tonight. That happened. It did happen once. I remember I was like, look, you can do it with your nose. But you can literally do it. It doesn't matter. So if you have a way, what I was actually going to say to you a moment ago, Jane, was like, do they work for you? Do you make harmonics? Do you like, you know, can you get them to sound?
I make them with the side of my finger.
Okay. And they sound nice and they work?
They sound nice, yeah.
And who cares? I mean,
I think it's easier to find them that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're making a nice sound with them and it works, a nice sound that's beautiful, and you are physically comfortable while you're doing it, these are the other thing that I go on about all the time, isn't it? I'm saying just make it, we want to play as beautifully as we can and be comfortable while we're doing it. And so it's, you know, if it works, then great. You might find that, you know, if you look back through other techniques to do it, you might go, oh, actually, I would like to do it that way. But what matters is that we're making them sound beautiful and ring, and we are, you know, so if you found a way that works for you, then, you know, just take that little person off your shoulder that's like, you know, maybe reminding you what some conservatoire lesson person told you at some point, and just be like, it's okay, it sounds, I'm making a beautiful sound, it's fine, you know. So I think it's really easy to be so worried about what other people are thinking. And, you know, this comes back to the joke that I always bang on about as well, of, you know, how many harpists it takes to change a light bulb. 10 harpists, 1 to change the light bulb, and the other 9 to criticize their technique. Sorry, not criticize, that's not the word I usually publicly say. Sorry, to suggest alternative to techniques is the word I would normally say in public. Sorry, I just forgot you weren't just friends. You are my friends too now. But yeah, anyway, so it's that whole thing, isn't it? We need to not worry too much, because there are so many different opinions, and what many roads lead to Rome. You know, you hear incredible world music harpists, you know, all around the globe playing beautifully. Then you hear people saying, well, you know, Salcedo method, or, you know, whatever it might be. And you know, we don't listen to those harpists and go, God, they sounded awful. They were doing this with their thumb, you know, when if they're a top player in their game, you know, they sound amazing. And so it's just a different way of getting something. So if you've like got the way of playing harmonics, maybe you need to do a video and demo it and put it on YouTube, and we'll all be going, oh, why didn't I do that? You know, so be proud of your way you make harmonics, but also look at the alternatives, because, you know, it's always good to see what else is out there and then make an informed decision of how you are going to do it yourself. Jane, you're waving. Linda, you're waving at me again.
Shelley, the other thing you said, because we brought this up before on harmonics, is each harp is so different. I have to play them differently on my pedal harp.
Yes.
Very high tension folk harp.
Yes, and when you swap between them, if you're swapping all the time and doing it all the time, I'm saying,
then you get used to it.
When I was out doing lots and lots of background gigs and lots of gigs, I was swapping between harps all the time. Because I'm doing most of my work now here with just like 2 harps, I'm finding it less easy to swap. So when you're doing it a lot, you just get used to your own harp. But what I find really throws me is if I change the chair height for harmonics in particular.
Oh, right.
So it's actually even changing harps I'm used to is okay, but changing the height I'm sitting, because if you think about it, it's the height that is the absolute most important thing. So that would be my tip, would be just like have a chair that you sit on, don't sit on anything else. I do literally take a stool around with me when I go out, because I like to be at the same height, apart from when I'm teaching ensemble, actually, that I then use whatever's there. But I hope you'll forgive me then if my harmonics don't happen. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Okay, Sue had to go. I am going to stop now because it's 9:30, and
you must be
trying to let you have a chat informally. But thank you, officially, thank you and goodbye. So thank you everyone who came live. We've got Linda,
thank you.
Jane left. I know Sue was here too. Thank you, and Mary was here earlier. Bye. Thank you on the
Bye everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for the